have mercy. This cry comes from the heart of the Christian centuries. It's found in all liturgies. And the fundamental attitude of this son of Bartimaeus is an imploration from the bottom of his heart, out of his dark, blind world, for some spark of hope. He knows there is hope passing by. Have mercy. And he has enough interior light to know who the hope is and what he is, the Son of David. He has the light of faith. This is the Messiah, my hope. In the play, The Damnation of Faust, we have this line, as this poor doctor is giving himself, or has given himself to Satan, and is at his deathbed, and knows what Satan is wanting of him now, his pound of flesh. He's seeing the precious blood before his mind's eye. One small drop of this precious blood would be enough. And yet we hear, a few minutes later, cries. He doesn't make it. He doesn't claim it. There is no sin repented of that cannot be forgiven, but it has to be repented of. We cannot ask for mercy and then presume upon it to take it as permission to carry on sinning, which is the error of our time. The beauty of the liturgy is its humility before majesty, and if it becomes proud, it takes its own place on the stage of God. Liturgy is a servant, ancilla, and it must be in operative mode always towards a greater. Therefore it's an awful mess when people use that slot to seek glory, usually indirectly, but nevertheless powerfully. Many other ways in which this is done. The continuous leitmotif, Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison, which comes through even in the West actually, because of our common origin with the Eastern Church, the Greek being the original language of the Church, is something which reminds us of the true way in which we approach Divine Majesty. Please, Lord, please, Lord, please, Lord. I can't command, I beg, I beg, I beg. We are beggars. And if another mode comes into our liturgy, we've missed the point completely. And if, in addition, we've made it a place where merely we act upon each other, we bring into play human dynamics, then few are the blessings that we are able to receive. Why? We've taken God's place. We're in the way. The Hebrews were educated also by the Holy Spirit over many centuries, and their hymn book, the Psalms, is also our own, and these psalms should be sung. This is the Psalm of known. Very beautiful. It can be memorized and easily chanted. How different it is from singing it, or rather saying it at high speed, without a single note being sung. When the Lord delivered Zion from bondage, it seemed like a dream. Then was our mouth filled with laughter, on our lips there were songs. There are 15 psalms of ascent, gradual psalms. A gradus is a step, an ascent therefore. They were sung on the way up, because Zion, Jerusalem, is up. One sees that if one is going there physically. It's going up a mountain, and the ascent to Jerusalem is quite long. Well, what was the glory of Jerusalem once seen? Remembering that it means vision of peace, Yerushalayim, and there they'd carried on this long, manual, painful, sweaty pilgrimage all that way in the heat and the sand, and here they see it for the first time. Jerusalem, the mountains surround her. so too we have something of that in our liturgy. Indeed, the word gradual is still used. We use it here every day, practically, in the Hermitage. It's the book that contains these psalms and things put to music. Antiphons, essentially, but they're very ancient. And in early architecture, we find that the Paleo-Christian churches had a place for this to be sung. It was halfway up the ambo, the gradus, the step. Cantor was a minister, and he was somebody appointed as such, often by the bishop, and it's something that we need to recuperate. We need cantors, capable people. In French, les animateurs, animators, people who actually make living what is not just to be said, because liturgy by nature must be celebrated. It's not just a functional mode, something higher than the ordinary, uplifting, giving us an experience, letting us enter into mode. Because after all, the angels are doing it all the time. And as in the Second Vatican Council we have the invitation in Sacro Sanctum Concilium to reproduce on earth the liturgy of the heavens, so too we can do that in our own way. How? A little bit of care. But above all, an expression of something which is there, which spontaneously wants the best and not the minimum. This minimalistic attitude has damaged profoundly our attitude towards God in general and to what pertains to Him. And it is a missing of the grace of the renewal that was meant by the Holy Spirit. The blurring of the edges between the sung and the said Mass, which is actually spontaneously something coming out of the Second Vatican Council, is a positive thing, insofar as there's no need to have this complete blocking of singing at any celebration. When we're in joy, we want to sing, we want to proclaim. It happens amongst lovers. St. Augustine speaks of it. Joy of the heart is expressed in song. How can we not want to praise our Creator? So too, in liturgy celebrated alone, the divine office, how can we not want to sing? It adds a huge amount to our praise, and it also becomes more physically the praise of the Church. For then we're not just saying a private office, it's the praise and prayer of Christ. And then the Master is touched. The calling forth leads to a call back. He calls him and he comes up at high speed. He jumps to him. That call also can come to us. Right now I'm just recommending to the bishop a couple of people who would be suitable candidates for ordination eventually if they carry on this iter towards the altar. And it's great when a bishop is positive and not making difficult presuppositions that one starts with saying no. Why should one say no? One needs to encourage, because the Lord is the one who's calling. All we do is favour, follow, protect, defend, discern. But the Lord is the one who calls. And if we try to call without Him calling, we're in trouble. We can't program artificial callings. And if that happens, it leads to the wrong sort coming through, and we know the consequences. Therefore, as in the second reading we have the perfect high priest, Christ of course Himself, but also those prepared in the Old Testament, we see that they are aware of the weakness of other people. There has to be compassion, feeling with, compassion in the heart, feeling the inside of another person. We don't administer souls, we nourish and love them into being. The high priest, therefore, has to be operating on two levels all the time. He cannot be a functionary, he has to be in love with Jesus, and in that he loves others coming to him. A pastor of souls is a lover of souls. He is not an administrator of business. If that is happening, the Church will have true pastors according to the heart of the Father.